can go to page 187, please. Go ahead, Bill.
We'll start with the first one? Please. Okay, who's in charge of warranty and receivables in your store?
Warranty receivables or all receivables?
Warranty and receivables.
Greg, you have a very good point. Let's split those.
They're different.
Let's talk about warranty receivables, and which is a receivable, but let's talk about warranty receivable for a little bit.
Typically what I see is that you have a warranty clerk that works in the service department that works that schedule. That seems to be the most effective. You need to have pretty tight control over her ability, though, to write off things. We see a fair amount of write-offs on the warranty schedule from time to time. If it's $2, $3, $4, is there anything you can do about it? You should find out why it's happening. Again, there's probably nothing you can do about it. If the factory's only going to pay $125, they're only going to pay $125. But do you have a bigger problem where they're submitting the wrong codes to the manufacturer? If they applied for the wrong thing, are they paying the wrong thing?
If you're a good dealer and the manufacturer, you made a mistake. Now, listen to me. You made a mistake. You filed the wrong stuff, you did the wrong stuff, and the dealer goes out and submits the stuff, and factory, they're very entitled. They do what? Reject it. What should you do as a dealer before that lady writes it off? What is it?
Resubmit it.
And you call who? You call everybody in the factory. You terrorize them. I'm on record right here to tell you, Tom Carney was on the receiving end of that deal. Our parts manager was a moron. Okay? They wrote off like $22,000 worth of stuff. I'm selling 200 Suzukis a month. You remember that, right? I mean, I almost went to fists on that deal. And they said, we're not doing it. I said, well, I'm not selling another Suzuki. Come pick them up. Now, you don't say that to a Lexus dealer, do you?
No.
Okay, I'm kind of. But what we did is we said, all right, look, here's the game plan. I wasn't like bullying people. We said, here's the game plan. This is what I did. I sent my parts manager to a school. Here's the procedures that we put so it doesn't happen again. This is a one-time only. I need your help, and I really need your help. Like, I'm not asking. I really need your help. And, obviously we had a great senior vice president that went out and talked to a couple of people. They put a plan together, and we came on and did it. How many times, if a dealer makes a call, we'll end up getting a lot of his money back versus just write it off? And that's what he just said. Have very strict control on your warranty receivable lady to what? Because she can enter a couple of codes, and you're gone, what, $500, $600? And we're yelling and screaming at our F&I manager about missing $50, $60, right? And we got that girl in the back office doing what? Writing things off. Because after all, she's the most powerful human being on earth.
That's one time I saw that the dealership had set their computer system up to automatically write off any warranty claim under $10.
Do what? Say it again?
Automatic write-off.
They had ADP or Reynolds set up the computer system that any warranty receivable that was under $5 or $10 just got written off.
Go ahead, Bill. Second question. Receivables. Who's in charge of receivables?
Well, receivables, I'm going to jump in here because this is what I was talking about before. Receivables is a very, very, very broad term in the dealership. Your holdbacks are receivable. Your incentives are receivable. Your warranty claims are receivable. Your customer receivables out of the parts department, your wholesalers are receivables. Contracts in transit technically is a receivable.
Who owes you the most money usually, the most time?
Most of the time it's in the vehicle receivables.
Vehicle and second in place?
It's usually parts and service is what I see. Or
call it the factory. The factory owes you more money at any given point than any other entity. In the banks, there is like several entities. There is Wells Fargo, there's Bank of America, there is Wachovia. You spread them out. But when it comes to the factory, usually there's several $100,000s waiting between rebate, holdback, all incentives, all that other stuff. And are they in a rush to pay you?
No. No.
They went to the same school that Chris Miller went, the float school.
Every bit of that money, too, just about all the incentives, all the holdback, all the vehicle receivables, all the contracts in transit, every bit of that has been reflected in your gross that you paid commissions on, right?
Absolutely.
And so if you don't collect it, you've overpaid the commissions, You've lost money on the deal that you may not have otherwise lost. If you've got a $1,500 incentive on a deal and you made $1,000 gross and you don't collect the incentive, you lost $1,500 plus.
Now, let's not talk about not collecting it. How about not collecting it for a while? Are you fronting that commission to everybody?
Yes.
So the dealer right now is doing what, guys? They're floating the payroll.
Paying on air. Paying on air.
Paying on air, which is, you know, in the old school, they just didn't pay you till they collected it. Now, they're not going to get good people to work and say, hey, man, I work now, I want to get paid now. You want to go collect your money, you go collect your money, but I'm getting paid now. And that's, you know, becoming the norm. So what you want to do is, you got it, I'm paying you, but part of your job is to do what? Get my money. I'm paying you your money, get my money.
We've run into a couple of instances on incentives where, you know, these incentive programs change, what, every 3 months, 2 months, 3 months?
Sometime monthly.
And it's really hard for the office, I mean, with everything they're dealing with all day long, to keep up with those incentive programs. And typically, don't you have your sales manager apply for the incentive? Isn't that part of the standardized process?
You know who's hard also to keep up with the incentive money?
Who?
The people at the factory that are supposed to cut checks for those incentive monies. They sometimes don't know.
That's right. And if you apply under the wrong program, it expired at the end of last month, and we're 3 days in the subsequent month, and you're still applying under the wrong program, it gets held up. That money gets held up. If it gets held up long enough, you lose it forevermore. Amen. Because what happens is after about 6 months, most manufacturers have a policy that if you haven't collected your incentive by applying for it properly and doing all the things that in their fine print on that program, you don't get it. And you might beg and plead and get them to go out
Nope.
9 months.
And by the way, the manufacturers don't want you not to apply.
Right.
The president of that company goes and fights the board of directors to get all the money. An example like in Kia or Hyundai or Suzuki, for example, in co-op, if you did not apply for your co-op and maximize what you were entitled to, somebody in the upper echelon got yelled at. Somebody in the upper echelon got... Am I telling the truth there, Tom? So, yeah. So what they want is they want you to spend that money, and then which is beyond understanding that sometimes you have hundreds of thousands of dollars waiting for it to be added to your financial statement, and then you go to a dealer and you ask them, hey, did you apply for that? Oh, man, it was too much work. Run that by me again? What was that? Too much work? Well, I don't understand it. Squeeze me? You don't what? You got $150,000 that you can add to the bottom line as net profit, and you're telling me it's too much work? Well, what is not too much work? What number would you start working on? Is it $250,000? Would that motivate you? I mean, what is it? I mean, do you hear that in some of the 20 groups?
Yeah, what I want to tell you guys is that General Motors estimates that 1/3 of all rebates and incentive money is never collected. Multiply that out times the thousands of cars that they sell every year.
And these are the same...
This has become a profit center for General Motors.
These are the same dealers that will cut pay plans, will fire vendors, will quit on advertising campaigns, would eliminate departments. These are the same guys that will do all that, but yet they're leaving money on the what? Don't do that again. There is one thing that is called unconsciously incompetent, but you know, as of now, everybody here is very consciously to be extremely competent. We're not going to go into the number 2 choice, right? Let's get our money. Our money is our money. They put it out there for us to get it. Let's get it. Let's, guys, let's wrap up. I'm going to open the floor here just for 5 more minutes. And then after that, we're going to salute those guys and give them a big hand for being here and go to have a very nice lunch. Joe? Excuse me, sir.
Here, 2 mics.
Would either one of you guys, I'm going to back up a little bit to page 185. When you're talking about who's responsible for contracts in transit, I think it'd be valuable if you could share, you know, for the benefit of general managers, F&I directors, finance, as well as GSMs. We did the example with the $6,000. If we hired a sales manager, the $6,000 in relationship to the profit. If you have a slow contracts in transit, we have in our store we have a heat sheet, which are pending deals, and then they migrate to the CIT contracts in transit. If you have say $300,000 on the heat sheet and say another $300,000 on the CIT, that's $600,000. If that thing, and of course, and we're talking about a static number as a growing cost. In our store, we're fighting it. Embarrassingly, we run about typically about $350,000 to $400,000 on the heat sheet, and we're running about typically about $675 on the CIT. Yes.
$1 million.
So for the benefit of the
No.
five managers I have here, could you relate that to that same example? You know, how much more in sales because of carrying that high number, even though they keep hearing me bitching about it every day and complaining and all that deal, it's just become rhetoric. So maybe I have Uncle Bill would explain to them in a different tone of voice.
Yeah, and I would leave. Greg, you come over here on this side. This is going to be a lot of fun here.
No. I'm serious about it because I think they get it, but I think they need to see what the dollar amount is.
That you're
the
losing.
relationship that if we got that down to a normal level, by having a higher level, we have to sell this many more in sales. Is what I'm saying. We have to sell this much more in dollar sales. Here with $6,000, we'd have to sell $600,000 more in sales.
All right,
if
I'm
you're
assuming
at 1%.
you have a sweep account. Do you have a sweep account?
Oh yeah.
Okay, what are you earning on that?
I don't know about
5%, say?
about 5. I think it's 5.2 or something. I can't remember.
It goes anywhere from 475 to 5.25, depending on what
Assume 5%, it's easy.
So 5% every day of how much money?
$1 million.
Because I know the pending deals are always going to be wishful deals, and that there's going to be some deals there that we know it's a pending deal, but you know, it'll be a cold day in hell it ever gets funded. But I mean, the real deals is what you're really talking about, isn't it?
Well, yeah. What I'm talking about on the heat sheet, between the two of them, in my opinion, we're running because we will, and I want deals on the heat sheet, and I want deals on the CIT. It means we're selling cars. But on the same hand, if we're carrying, say, $400,000 in excess, just pull that number out, in excess of what it should be. How many more vehicles do we, or how many more dollar amount of sales do we need to sell to make up for that $400,000?
Well, if you've got 400,000, right? And it's 5% interest that you can earn on that.
It's $20,000.
Well, how about how much I pay?
Right?
It's what I pay. It's not what I earn.
I got a better one for you. You guys ready?
What?
How about return on investment on the $400,000 that is stuck in La La Land? As in those cars turning, as you're able to buy those cars, you're able to buy another 25, 30 cars, and you keep it rotating. And each of those cars, those 25 times 30 cars, you guys with me yet? Fellas? You with me? Okay, good. 20 to 25 cars, and those cars, and you're rotating them at $3,500, $4,000 a copy. How much money are we talking about right now? I mean, the number becomes insane.
It does.
And then you go back to that, to the amount of time that you turn your inventory. If you cut your turn of inventory from 60 to 30 days, you're talking about another $400,000 that can get added to the financial statement.
What happens
just
on
like that?
What happens in that thing is you're paying in every way. You're losing gross, and you're paying interest on money that you don't have.
Yep.
And you've got to come up with $1 million to float it. Okay, which is where you run out of cash in the store because the floor plan's due in 2 to 3 days, right? Most stores. Whether you've collected that, if it takes 7 days to collect a contract, you've got to float it for those 4 days to stay in trust. So you've got to pay off $1 million worth of cars while you're waiting on $1 million to come in. It's a big number.
And that's why I don't like this policy of certain dealers buying cars in November to sell it in March.
Stupid.
That is 4 months of Miss Pac-Man, chomp, 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 eating all that stuff. Now, Bill, from your opinion, who is the best at turning inventory?
Wholesalers. I don't know a wholesaler in the world that has an inventory.
Do you guys know any wholesalers that have inventory?
Yeah, but that's not by choice or design, is it? Right.
All right. Well, listen, I would just want to say thank you to both those gentlemen. What a great morning. Thank you very much. Give me a big hand, guys.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.